Welcome back. Welcome back. Just want to drop another video. Y'all know who this is, and just wanted to drop something by y'all again about this thing. Today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and some of the things that you'll go through. Well, what I went through, to build. Man, it's like I don't have any words to say about it because of the fact, like, you got to be willing to bob and weave straight up. It is not for the faint of heart. It's for people who have a vision and people who want to, fulfill their vision and see their dreams come true, etc. A lot of the things some of the things you may not know about me, like I told y'all again, like I was homeless for 9 years straight up and was able to climb up out of that, period. And actually in the book, like we talked about. But what I want to drop by to you is that for real, like on this journey, I was literally fired or dismissed from 11 jobs. 11. Not because I was late, not because I was a bad person. It was really just others seeing my light. And then I'm somewhat what you want to call intelligent, what you refer to as intelligent. Not that I'm boasting or anything like that, but it's like I've spent years in reading and development. So yes, it comes, with that comes a certain level of intelligence, that you acquire along the way. But I was fired from 11 jobs, you know what I'm saying? And when I wasn't working, I was donating plasma. That's how I was able to eat, you know what I'm saying? And I actually love it, man, because it's beautiful when you can look back and you can see that your dreams do come true, yeah. So I think we talked about that in the last space as far as how some people, they expect, like, just because a person on a bicycle today, man, that person might be in a Maserati tomorrow, or a Porsche. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? They can come up. Yeah, and it starts with a plan. That's one of the key things. So today we're gonna go over five key things that I think that are important to your entrepreneur journey. That these are just different levels of skill sets that I personally feel that could help you along your journey in that sector, whether it's food, entrepreneurship, just whatever you decide to do. But these are 5 skills that I kind of had jotted down. And I've been meaning to put this out for you for a long time, but today is the day I'm just going to drop it. So if you're desiring to go into any type of business or any type of venture, these are 5 things that I feel that could definitely help you along your way. So I'm gonna look down a little bit. I'm gonna kind of read a little bit, but basically, few people venture into entrepreneurship compared to regular professional careers. Being an entrepreneur can be risky. It can demand more money to start, depending on the type of business you want to go into, whether you work in a steady job or prior to becoming an entrepreneur. It gives you the skills, experience, and insights. So basically, every job that you work, what you can do is just you can adapt or get some of those skill sets that you learn, and you can convert that into entrepreneurship. Is what I'm saying here. And basically, some jobs are good for preparing you for these things as well. So again, whatever job you're working, just look at the silver lining, because that could be a skill set that you can convert into something else. So here are 5 key things that I just want to drop by you, drop to you, that would help you along your journey. So number 1, we're talking about sales. I never thought I would be into sales. Sales is a whole different animal. I mean, there are a lot, it's definitely something, sales, selling products if you don't meet your quotas. I remember one time I was working at a telemarketing place, and it's like literally cold calling, and it was like, man, what are the chances of, like getting a sale? You're calling people who didn't even have none of this on their mind. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you couldn't win them over, but if you don't meet that quota, then bottom line is you may not have a job. The next one, number 2, would be customer service. Like, customer service is always a good thing because dealing with customers, yeah, it can be a whole lot. It can be very taxing. It can definitely, in my opinion, is spiritual, because people, you dealing with all types of spirits, different spirits that people have, just looking at you just for who you are. Well, you're not supposed to be back here. So it's like it already formulates something on them already. You know what I'm saying? Or to even get to you, you can just see it. It's like the looks. My grandma told me something one time. She was like, if you ever want to know like what's on a person's mind, or how they really feel, look at their facial expressions, because the facial expressions will tell it like 99% of the time, and unknowingly to them. But yeah, it's sad, just dealing with customers. Sometimes you have customers that are glad to be served. They're glad that you're there. Oh man, we're glad that you're here. This, that, and they're really good. They're really glad. They love the food. They love the services and everything. And then other times, man, like you can see people have a bad day. Somebody may have a bad day, and then just because you are in the position that they think that you are, then it's like, who do they think they are? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it can be an animal, and it definitely teaches you patience. And yeah, so you gotta have tough skin in the game of sales, right? Seriously. The looks that you get from people just because you're doing something positive, you know, um, yeah, that ties into customer service as well. And for sure. So I was trying to look down here. Yeah, yeah. So keeping calm while you're dealing with a disgruntled customer. And yeah. So basically, disgruntled customers, like sometimes it's virtually hard to please certain people. Look, you can give them the shirt off your back, and it's not good enough. And it's like, man, then you can kind of tell that it ties into them just being totally unhappy with their life, totally unhappy with them, not being fulfilled in what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That's why I encourage, everyone that, like, I don't care what it is, you really need to follow your spiritual gift, and what you need to, what you feel that the Most High is sending you, the direction you're supposed to go into. Because, like, sometimes we get stuck in these jobs, we get stuck in these relationships, we get stuck into so many, like, boxes that we're not supposed to be in. For one, I used to cut hair. That's another example. I used to, basically what happened was I was looking for a job one day, and the barber messed my hair up, and I was like, well, just shave it all off, because I really did not, I'm not, I mean, though I'm a fairly attractive man. This is what I know, and I know who I am, and it doesn't have anything against anyone else. You just know who you are. I know who I am, and I am what I am, and you are what you are, and that's perfectly fine, because you can, But anyway, he shaved all my hair off, right, and I was like, man, I was cool with it, and so I asked him, did he have, I said, are y'all hiring? Because I didn't have a job at the time, and he was like, yeah, this is years ago. Probably was like in my 20s maybe. And he said, y'all hiring? I asked him, are y'all hiring? He was like, no, we're not hiring, but I know someone else that may be hiring. And then, so basically, I basically started cutting hair. A couple weeks later, another gentleman called me about training me how to cut hair. And then I became a master barber, that is, for like, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years. I mean, literally, I had my own shop and everything. And what ended up happening, this will be told in the book as well, what ended up happening, it wasn't for me to do. Like, I had a barbershop, I was doing okay, but when I looked in the mirror, like, at is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And something down inside of me was like, no, this is not what you're supposed to do, and that's when reality hit. I've been doing something for years that made money, but it wasn't my true creative passion. And when I discovered that, that's when I closed my shop down, because I felt guilty, and I should feel guilty, should have felt guilty, because taking money from people when your heart is not in it, that's a whole other thing. So I encourage y'all, don't do anything just for money, like and subscribe to this channel for real. If you're an entrepreneur, you have different different aspirations on going to the top or whatever, then hopefully, I can provide you with some insights and some of the things that you may encounter as you're getting there. All right, cool. So we're talking about food service number 3. So I happen to be in the food sector. Man, that's a long story, but yeah, and it's in the book as well. But I will tell you that I never thought I ever would be in the food space, at that time. And, because it's just something that I later found out that, that's in the book as well. I'll tell you all that when the book, I got like 6 chapters to go. And I know I've told y'all that in the last few series of these videos, but I just got so bombarded with life, and so that's why I didn't finish. I got like 6 chapters to go, but it is going to be a good read. I ain't playing, seriously though. But food service, so like if you're aspiring to be a chef, cooking, there's a lot of different things you can get into as far as recipe development. That's what I do, recipe development. That's one of the things that I do, I say. So if you can cook, fry, bake, anything like that, teaching people how to take it to the retail market. That's the biggest thing. So you got that. Then you can, of course, you can work it, fast food, or you can start your own restaurant. It's just, food is just very, very, very broad. I never thought that I would be in the food space. I mean, everybody likes to eat, but it's so many lanes you can go into, and I learned that when I was in the culinary school, under one of my chefs, Chef D, shout out to her, where she was a very successful food entrepreneur, 2 restaurants and everything. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking about food. I was just going because I manufacture hot sauce, Chef Joseph's Kick Sauce. And you can go to chefjosephskicksauce.com, order your bottle. And yes, it's tight. It's real tight. But it's got a couple commercials coming and everything like that as well. But anyway, but when I started seeing like the different lanes you can go into, that's when like everything just opened up to me. So food service, like I said, don't sleep on that for real. If you can cook, fry, bake, anything, and you don't have a job, then maybe that's your talent that you can use to get to that next level. Retail is number 4. So retail, of course, I've never been a retail person. I've heard many different stories about retail, but retail may work for some, retail may not work for others. I just couldn't see standing in the mall and selling a shirt. I'm just saying, not that it's bad, it just wasn't for me, and there's a lot of that's on commission and stuff like that. So that's another thing you have to, be aware of if you choose to go into the retail space. My thing is create your own products. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone else can create it, you can create it too. We all have gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying? Even the scriptures talk about the gifts and talents. So some of us are choosing to bury it, in the sand, bury the talent in the ground, and then some of us are choosing to use our gifts. And to those who choose to use the gifts, there's great reward that comes with that. It is definitely harder work, but at the end of the day, work is work. What I'm saying? Work is not necessarily going to be easy in some cases, but you can make your work your play, and your play your work, and so that's when it all sinks in. And the 5th one, we talk about management. And so we're talking about real quick, 5 jobs every entrepreneur should be familiar with, or they should work before building their own business. Management is another one. At this level now where I sit, it's like, man, I made some drastic changes in a great way. I made some changes because I seen young students coming behind me. And so I was able to say, you know what, let's pass this torch. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a beautiful thing because now I'm able to, like the scripture talks about, and I know the deeper meaning of the scripture I'm about to say, but the scripture when it talks about, when Yeshua, he was saying how, John the Baptist, okay, he was like, there's one that cometh, I'm not saying it correctly, but it was like, there's one, like he was baptizing, I think it was in the book of John, or in the New Testament, he was baptizing, he was saying, there's one that cometh that is greater than I, that's preferred less than I. It was somewhere around in that, how he was saying, because as we start growing in this life, our job is to train up young entrepreneurs. That's just what it is. To train them to have their own, to be able to see, to be able to create their own. That is very important. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they have gifts and talents too. So as I started seeing others that were coming, that were like, man, they got that light, they got that You know what I'm saying? And then we, trained them up, put them in positions. I decreased. I'm done. Like I said, I'm good. I'm in a very, very good place. And you know what's the most beautiful thing about it is giving back to the youth. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll remember that. They will remember those gifts. They will remember them when they get a certain age. They be like, you know what? I met this guy that was frying fish, and that man taught me this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what your legacy is supposed to be about. Yeah, it actually brings tears in my eyes when I really think about that, because so many of our young adults do not have, they don't have a blueprint. And that's why I get the way I get about the churches and things like that, because as much as we're jumping for the Lord, you know what I'm saying, God gave us something to do, and and what we need to do is be giving back to the youth, because once we're gone to heaven somewhere, what these babies gonna do? What are they gonna do? Who are they gonna work for? The way the world is shifting now, it's just not gonna be a good sight. You know what I'm saying? I was just in that conversation yesterday about how, like, once we transition and move up to the next plane or the next dimension, if the master asked me, hey, Chef, do you want to just look back on the earth and just see, some of the work you've done? It's kind of like a bittersweet thing for me, because I actually probably wouldn't want to see, because there are so many people who basically have just not taken and learned the lessons in life. You know what I'm saying? Treating people right, doing for yourself, creating something for yourself, and a lot of people think that's a joke. But at the end of the day, when the AI intelligence hits, and things like that, people going to college and things like that, and the degree is not there. You know what I'm saying? The job may not be there by the time they finish. See what I'm saying? So you got a lot of people want to go to college. Nothing wrong with college. College is great if you're going for STEM, science, technology, innovation, things like that. But to go to get a college degree right now in this season, I would just say you have to strongly reconsider that. You got to really strongly think about that, because the world is changing. Let me tell you what I seen the other night. Well, it was early in the morning. Like, how they have these parking lot sweepers, like, people that drive the trucks cleaning the floors, cleaning the concrete, the trash in the Walmart and the parking lots. Man, I seen a robotic one with nobody. Man, this thing, it was probably about 4 feet tall, and probably about it's 4 foot high, maybe about 5 foot long. And this thing was like it was scaling the whole parking lot, cleaning up the trash. You know what I'm saying? And it was doing it for hours, and I was like, wow. I took a photo of it, actually. But what does that mean? That means that's one person without a job. That means one person is not going to have a job. That's one job less that somebody don't have. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm big on entrepreneurship. You got to create your own stuff. That's just it. And just know when you're creating your own things, it's going to be different. People going to look at you different. People not going to like it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But you gotta understand, you don't live for them. Everything that y'all see that I built was sweat equity. No one gave me anything, not one thing. I take that back. Who gave me something? The shelters. They had a free place to stay, for real, and food to eat for free. I didn't complain. I kept making it work. You know what I'm saying? So yes, there were some free things given to me, in the shelter. But at the end of the day, I created my own, self-made, and when you're self-made, can no one take that from you? They can look at you twisted, they can roll their eyes, but they can't take away what I put into all these businesses. Seriously. I done it with no bank loans. I did it donating plasma and saving my coins. And the next thing was, I didn't work to find us some jobs. You know what I'm saying? I worked jobs. I started my first job was making $2.85 an hour. Serving hot dogs in a baseball stadium. That was my first job. And I got paid once a month. And my check was like $34 a month. But you know what? I was thankful for that. I was very, very, very thankful. Thankful for everything. And now I look up, I can't even say what I'm into, but I would just say that the Most High was good to me. And more than that, it's a team of people behind me. So that makes me feel good to be able to give back to the youth. You know what I'm saying? To give back to those. And I'm going to tell you another thing that I've seen, the lack of discipline. Me, I'm a disciplined person. When you come through homelessness and you come through eating at soup lines, when you're supposed to eat at 6 o'clock, if you're late, you don't eat. And not to mention, the other works that I do, it's discipline. And this is the time in the season now that people must learn to be disciplined. And you need to learn to be on time. That's just it. Everything runs on a time system. The city bus runs on a time system. Everything is pretty much on time. Spiritual stuff is, outside of time, but I'm speaking in the natural. If you're speaking in the natural, everything is on time. You must be on time. And I think one of the biggest things that I've seen in the entrepreneur space is that people want top dollars. They want this, they want that, but they don't know how to be on time. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I tell people straight up. If they do not respect your time, cut them off. That's it. That's all. And those who know me, those who've encountered me, y'all know I'm good as gold. I'm a good person, but I don't let you play with my time at all. You come late, I can't use you. You know what I'm saying? No one can use you. Walmart's not going to use you. Burger King, they may use you or may not use you. But if you can't get your timing together, you might as well just go back home. And that's it. And that's why many people going to miss it, because one, they don't want to be on time. That's it. I'm usually up 4 a.m. on most occasions. You know what I'm saying? Meditating, exercising, taking care of my mental health, just taking care of my health in general. Before the world is even moving, you know what I'm saying? I'm usually up. Reading the book, educate yourself, So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go on that and like and subscribe to this channel. These are some notes I wanted to drop by you. So it's basically 5 jobs that every entrepreneur should work or have a knowledge of before building their business. And that's it. So again, you're talking to a person who comes from the gutter, a person who's very disciplined, a person who is no nonsense. There's so many things going on in the world now, and that's why I encourage y'all, start your own, have your own, create something before it's too late. Because once the jobs are over with, if you ain't got people like myself and others that are talking about these type of subjects, you're gonna find yourself looking for work, and it's not gonna be pretty then. So my prayers go out to you, but you need to create your own. So I'm gonna let y'all go, like and subscribe to this channel. Chef Joseph's Kick Salsa Entrepreneurs channel. We'll go from there. Peace.